Were you there in that chopper when we had that air-to-air chopper dogfight?
No.
No?
I was there when that chopper almost crashed on Pepe Tortilla.
Dude, what happened there? What happened? What was that all about?
I think it was just somebody like that's able to fly about as well as me that was, just coming in hot and crashed the fuck out of that thing. It was an enemy, but it's just like, I just looked, he was standing there and I saw it coming. I was like, uh-oh. And his character just took a knee and it missed him. Kind of like the tail boom went over his head.
No shit, dude. That's like a Die Hard movie.
And I thought, wow. And then he took like 2 steps toward me and then turned around and killed one of our own players. He shot the first man he saw.
Welcome gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, and even NPCs. This is the New Wave Gaming Podcast. Chuck T, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just woke up and full of coffee over here this morning. How's it going over there?
Hey, I'm on the same page. I'm in the same lobby, my brother. That coffee lobby. We're in the coffee lobby today. Right. And we're coming up on episode 70. We're not there yet. This is episode 69. But, man, it's really exciting that we've got this whole... Man, I was going through our podcast thing there, just really enjoying this and enjoying having all of you fellow gamers tuning in. And on that note, real quick, Chuck.
We're on the road to 50 reviews, right? 55-star reviews is what we're shooting for, folks. Get in there.
Indeed. Get in there. Yeah, roger that, Chuck Tomahawk, roger that. And real quick, from Chuck Tomahawk and myself, we want to give a shout out and a huge thank you to Sasuke Uzumaki Landon, who gave us a 5-star review, a 5-star rating, and a review, a very kind review. And I just want to read it real quick. It says, "This is my favorite podcast right now. Chuck and Ovox are amazing and funny, and it is simply the best gaming pod I've heard."
Nice.
His words, not mine. Well, his or her, I'm not sure. I suspect it's a fellow bro gamer. But yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Chuck, any words?
Hell yeah, man! I'm super stoked to hear that, and special thanks to him. That's a pretty hard to pronounce name there. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, man, how about the other day, man? The other day we were trying to I don't remember what objective. Talking Arma Reforger, I don't remember what objective we were trying to push, man. But all of a sudden, we're all like, this is an NPC objective. We should be fine. The AIs, they that update 1.3 has got the AI better and everything. I think we all kind of knew that, but it wasn't really we weren't thinking about it in the moment.
Yeah.
And man,
yeah.
Oh boy.
It was almost like my assessment was well, nothing's really changed so far. It seemed pretty normal. I did kind of hear some talk about some orders, on the radio there, but then just all of a sudden, thinking you could just sort of kind of take some cover and slowly pick off the NPCs.
One at a time.
Yeah. They kind of sacrificed one of themselves, it looks like, while one of them flanked around the side of us there.
Oh my god! All of a sudden I hear Pepe Tortilla. I'm hit.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, me too.
His shit hit the fan. Okay, so the NPC, I came out from behind. We were pushing an objective. We were playing as the U.S. faction, I think. Uh-huh. I don't remember the objective name, but it was one that we've become familiar with a little bit. In fact, it was the same objective, Chuck, when we were talking in that previous episode about Arma, where you were describing how the flares were just lighting up the entire landscape. It was the same objective where you experienced that.
Okay, yeah.
But
yeah. I didn't recognize it at the time, but now I do. Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and there's that little barn on the left. So Pepe Tortilla was on the left flank, and you were also on the left flank, but a little bit behind him, kind of hiding, taking cover behind a log. There's a bunch of timber there or
Stacked
something. You were
wood,
hiding stacked wood or something. And I was a little bit behind you, but on the right flank of that barn. And I got a couple kills. I pushed to the left, and then that's when everything just went crazy. And bottom line is man, that update 1.3 really did make those AI NPCs just like they're on a whole nother level now.
Yeah.
At least in our couple of sessions of playing, right? That was crazy.
Well,
because
I was so confused by it. Like just, I kind of, one minute I was focused on fighting him, and then like, it kind of seemed like he took my legs out, and I turned around and could see him. And I was just like trying to assess, is this an NPC or a real person? And wasn't really trying to fight back. Like I was just like, I was like, is that an NPC? Like this fucking Alvin C. York, the fucking came around and took out the German pillboxes here. Like
just like. Anyways, wrecked all three of us. We had to respawn at the closest, communication tower. But man, that was the first moment where I was like, okay, yeah, this update definitely
changed the game.
Because initially, the first thing I was hoping to see, to be honest, was that I don't know if anyone else experiences this out there, fellow gamers, but I get a lot of screen tear on the bottom of my screen. Like the frames are great, the graphics are great, everything's great. I mean, it takes a little bit to when you initially load in, it takes a second. But on the bottom, I have a really severe screen tear. Have you ever seen that? Do you experience that? I think
I've
Pepper
heard y'all
Tortilla
talk about it. I hadn't noticed it as much. I'm sure it's there, but
let me know if you see that, because hell, maybe I might have something set wrong and I might need to change a setting. But anyways, I was hoping to see that fixed, but I wasn't really I hadn't seen anything like that really was like, oh yeah, this is like totally a new feature, a new mechanic or whatever. But man, when that NPC flanked us and just took us all out, it was like, whoa. and what's funny is like we had another experience later where we were going to take the tower at Introdu, and we were doing the same thing again. We were pushing that brush line. We were all kind of pushing up, but there was a section there where on the flanks there was some brush too. And I was like, I remember like a little bit through the battle, I was like, wait a minute, guys, they might be flanking. Let's keep an eye on our left and on our right. And sure enough, they were coming on that left side again, totally flanking. It was insane. I was like, that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it just throughout these kind of games for it's always been the AI is kind of not been it, like they're pretty easily like outsmarted and they're better than nothing. Like, cause there's two sides to it. Like you can kind of put these AIs out to defend something that you just took while you go out and, try to take something else. Like, and now that I know, I'm much more confident in them. Like,
copy that. Yeah, absolutely. And, yeah, that's definitely true, because there were a couple of situations there where we were, spawning in and like the base was effectively being engaged. And there was no one there except the NPCs, and you can just see them like, just like man, look at these guys go. For a second, you just gotta sit there and admire.
Yeah.
It's like,
because I feel like there are some. I wonder how they put that intelligence in them. But I know one of the things I struggle with as a human, and I feel like it's probably fairly accurate, like simulation, is identifying foe from friend. Like, I get that one side has camo and the other has like a solid print, but dude, like it, just at distance and things, like it's just hard for me to discern that, like with my eyesight, like, not that I have, terribly bad eyesight or anything, but God almighty, it's because you don't want to shoot your own players, like, and I can only imagine in real life how that would be just way multiplied.
Dude. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, multiplied.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's like
just devastate. Like,
it's worse than the own goal in soccer.
Yeah, during the World Cup. Yeah. No, let's not. Yeah, let's not even.
Yeah, that can get you killed too.
Yeah, especially if you're in Europe or South America.
Yeah. You'd want to be dead, like. But yeah. So I'm always like kind of on that, like I don't want. I'm erring on the side of caution on that. And the reason I bring that up is I don't think the AI has that problem at all. Like he looks like he just like knows, and
yeah, that's true. That is one thing,
rounds
right?
down range, and like, I'm still like, fuck, is that?
Yeah, man, oh man, that's something. So that would be that's a huge advancement in the game. I think it's a great new feature, because I don't know, when we're facing the NPCs, I really do enjoy it. Like, I don't feel that gap or that disparity, or that like, oh, it's any less of a. It's not any less satisfying to me when we down enemy players that are NPCs versus real actual players. You know what I mean? Like, because like does that make any sense? I don't know if I'm saying that in the right way. Like, I have just as much fun and enjoy it just as much because they're so challenging. The NPCs now.
I would agree. I think it's a little different. Like it's just a tad bit different, but it has its own like flavor to it. Like I and especially before this update, I had some moments like where like I was just kind of running through the AI, like not killing them, but like I just kind of ran by them, and like it's amazing how you could get away with that. Like where a real player would just be on your ass, and I'm a little interested to see what the close like AI actions are, because I remember one distinct thing, like I was still kind of getting used to the game, and like I was out of bullets and I couldn't remember how to reload, and so my solution was just to run, and you're like, he's right there, and I'm like, yeah. Yes, he is.
Oh, man. You should have just said, hey,
Well,
yeah.
I was.
No, you're right.
Like,
I was probably
using
all
my brain
aggro
to
mode
find
too.
places to run to, like instead of explaining myself, like
Yeah,
But
true that.
Yeah, like it that part, that you could definitely feel AI in it, but
I think they also kind of fixed that, though. We'll see. I mean, we've only played so much since the new update, so we'll get some more sessions in and really gauge it. But I do remember we were cruising through the night in one of those Jeeps, one of the successful cruises where I didn't crash. And the AI, man, the NPCs spotted us. They heard us coming, and they approached and engaged. So... Yeah, I don't know if just running them is going to be a solution anymore.
True, and it's going to feel more like an accomplishment, like with this new thing. But man, you touched on something there. I want 1.4 to have is like the crashes, dude. How many times like I died in a vehicle like 7 times, like in our last play session. It felt like and like. It's not completely realistic. Like they need to tone that back a little bit. I feel like because we had a crash the other night. We had 5 people in a big ass Jeep, and like we hit a tree, and everyone died but me. I think, and maybe one other person. But I assumed everyone else was alive because we didn't really hit it that hard, And I crawled out of it, and I was crawling around on the ground, and like, I start hearing y'all's comment. Y'all are like talking about where you're spawning, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm like I'm up here by myself, and like, yeah, it that is the only time I survived. Otherwise, like we'll just be cruising along. I'll be looking at the map, like to just fucking with shit in the game, like in black. It just goes black, like. And
one of those crashes, I was so pissed because I know it's like it's funny for a second and then it's really frustrating. But there was one of those crashes where I don't know what was going on, but for some reason I had crazy ping and my frame rate just dropped to like 5. And like the car was moving like this, and I'm like, oh gosh, and we're going right into a town right when that was happening. And I'm like, hold on, Chuck. I don't know if I was trying to say something's going on here. And I was just doing my best to navigate it, but eventually we just went right into a tree and we blew up, and it was like, and I felt bad too, because like here's the thing, fellow gamers. Whenever there's a car accident in Arma Reforger, it tends to be me behind the wheel.
Well, and we had switched over to like we had been in our own personal chat, but private chat, but we were in game chat. So, like, to talk about where we're going to spawn, like what what's going on from here, like all that is just you've got to kind of do it in front of everyone else, or kind of not do it at all. Like it really adds an element to the game. That I'm not always in the mood for, but like
last time it was your idea. I was
because I was just kind of listening to the people that were talking, and they seemed sensible. Like, which
they were,
which wasn't always the case. Like,
but I also like if you're gonna use that in-game chat, which let's not call it chat, let's call it the comms, which is part of the immersion of that game. You definitely want to know how to use it efficiently, and it does take a little you got to keep using it so that you can get swift with it and know how to change the channels and swap back and forth from platoon comms to squad comms, so on and so forth. But that said, the only way to do that is by using it often. But I gotta admit though, I'm just gonna be real honest here. When we're all together, all of us, I kind of do enjoy our private PlayStation chat so that we can keep consistent comms. There's also an advantage that no one can hear us when we're coming up on a position. There's pros and cons, but I only really enjoy that when we're all together.
Yeah, and man, like pair that with somebody that's working with that, like somebody that realizes we can hear them, but they can't hear us. That like we had the other night, like that guy, seemed to know what he was doing, and he would talk to us, and see us responding to it, so he knew we could hear him, and yeah, that's like the best of both worlds almost. He was kind of communicating to the rest of the map, the rest of our side, like, what we were up to. And yeah, that was like perfect. Hey y'all, it's Chuck T. I don't know how, but here you are listening to me. So this is your call to action. Need you to hit the social medias, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, the TikTok, and put in @NWG Podcasts, and you'll figure out what we've been doing lately and what's going on with the podcast, and that'll link you up and maybe get over there listening to it out there on Spotify and Apple and those kind of places, wherever you listen to podcasts. Give us a review. 5 stars is what I'm thinking. Even if you don't like it, give us a 5-star anyway, and we'll read it out on the podcast. So yeah, help us out. Give us some feedback. Interact. And if you take a notion, want to send us an email, you can get in touch with us at Ovox and Chuk @gmail.com. That's OVOXANDCHUK @gmail.com. Hope to see you there. I don't want to bring up something we didn't talk about earlier, but I never got the tea of later on in that same game, I look up and it says Ovox is being voted to be kicked off the server or something going on there.
Dude, they gave me the boot and I don't even know why. It's like, what did I do?
I didn't know why either, man. There was we'd kind of gotten separated, kind of as we just described, through car crashes and shit, and and yeah, I just all of a sudden I could hear you interacting with people, making friends up there, but then I see they're all yeah, you gotta go.
My hypothesis, and I only have this hypothesis because I heard a bunch of other players discussing how there was some sort of an issue with people constantly voting to kick people. And that, do you even, I don't know if you were online playing with us once, but we signed into a session where someone actually said in the platoon chat, hey, someone or something is consistently trying to vote to kick players. Let's keep, don't vote to approve unless there's a valid reason. So I don't know if I fell victim to that, or I don't know what happened really. Cause I mean, you know me, man, I'm probably one of the last people anyone would kick from anything, Yeah. The only games that ever even get me to remotely become a little aggro are games like Warzone and stuff, and I never crossed the line of becoming anything remotely close to being rude or mean, or that's just not me. It's not in my spirit. So I don't know what happened there, but they definitely kicked me.
And I felt really proud too when like as soon as we were literally like marching to fight these enemy, and as soon as we saw that, Pepe was like, let's get out of here. like I literally watched his character on screen just stop moving. Like, like we were just like, yeah, we're out of here. And yeah, it was just funny. Like how like I just think back to the very beginning, how when it was only PlayStation players, like there was that whole, everybody helping each other. And like now, when we first logged on to that session, people were arguing like crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I guess we did have there was a sweet moment there, like a special time, like in those first couple of weeks where, there was a unique community like effort, all to learn together and figure out the game together. And now it's like, it's a little different. It's still an amazing experience.
Yeah, and
definitely.
And tying this back into the 1.3 update, like they've done some things to help that frustration, I think, because I hear it in people's voices. Like they figured out how the game works, and they're just dealing with people being stupid. Like I get it. Like, and there's shared resources like supplies and things like that we all gotta, kind of share and strategically use, or you're gonna lose. And like, yeah, you're playing to win and maybe get some kills. Like that kind of thing, but there's a bigger like chess match kind of going on, and if you focus in on that and other people aren't, I can see how that leads to
they want to like put barriers up for people that aren't invested in the battle, because it takes time to fight these battles. This isn't like a Warzone match, this is like you're gonna put some, if you're really going in for the long haul and you're taking it seriously, it's gonna be a minimum of several hours of so it's fun to be, and that's the way it should be played. But that's definitely I would say one of the good new features of this update is that they're limiting what kind of weapons and gear you have access to, what you can build, and so on and so forth, to your rank. I think the building aspect was always linked to rank, but now also like what you can get out of the armament and out of the all those
arsenal,
supplies. The arsenal. Excuse me, the arsenal. Thank you. It's limited now. You can't just like spawn in and run up and like throw on like silencers and scopes and grab a sniper rifle and then a law and all these things and one of those dope ass backpacks. Nah.
Yeah, that was almost the meme of like the guy that just has all the fucking gear, and like
you're like, well, how are you going, Rambo?
And he's spawning in over and over, like just consuming resources like crazy. And they did some stuff to fix that, which I appreciate, and yeah, it kind of motivates you to play the game, like and for what that means for me is just being like pinging the map, like whatever objectives you're going towards, and like. Yeah, just
marking the objectives so you get the points for them. Yeah,
like and just sometimes standing in the right place at the right time, like kind of makes it out. Like being by the base there when it's being defended, and things like that. Like add to your rank, and that. Yeah, I focused on that just a little bit more, and
it makes you play your part in some form or fashion. You can't just unless you just want to roll around with your basic M16. Which, a lot can be done with that basic setup you get. A lot can be done, my friend.
And honestly, it's almost better off because I went through this period where I learned how to kind of save a loadout, but like when I'm spawning back in, that can be a problem. Like there's kind of like your basic loadout, and then there's your modded loadout, and a lot of times like there won't be enough supplies to allow that modded loadout in, and like it's kind of janky how you've got to kind of click through with the D-pad there to get to change that back out, and it's got functionality, but it just slows you down, and when your mind's somewhere else, and
I think our hope there as console players, PS5 players in our case, is that as in time, especially with the success of the game, that the developers Bohemia will hopefully like release some quality of life updates and improvements for consoles, just to make that whole interface a little bit more user friendly. Because you're right, there is an easy solution to go from, you know, your default loadout to your custom loadout, but it is like when you're in the middle of action and you need to like do things quickly, it is like very challenging on the controller.
Yeah.
And hey, I get it. It's a PC game that they, you know, designed for PC with tons of keybinds and so on and so forth, and they had to find a way to get it on the PlayStation controller and the Xbox. Well, I think it was an Xbox controller, of course. So hey, you know, let's just hope that they release some quality of life improvements for that.
Yeah. It feels like the D-pad is like the well that's been gone to quite a few times. It's like tap it and then hold it and then like hold your right hand to the Lord and you can change. You know, it's like what? Yeah.
And kind of in the same sense of like those feature changes, did you notice also how like you can't just spawn in on a base now when it's being captured? Did you notice that?
Yeah, they kind of flash like it's blue if I can, and it starts flashing sort of blue and red is what I noticed, and like I couldn't really tell what triggered that. Like is it just one person or what? Because it seemed to kind of fluctuate. Like as I was sitting there, like all of a sudden it would say I could, and you know, so it required a little bit of patience of deciding, do I spawn at the base far away and start running over there on foot or get in a vehicle, or do I wait, you know, till they get a little bit more of the upper hand and spawn in there?
Well, and to answer that question, I think the best thing you can do in the moment is just see if there's anyone there that can provide comms and let you know, like if they're about to recapture and you'll be able to spawn there, or if they're like, no, it's not going to happen soon. Spawn at the clearest location and get your way over here. But I think what's happening with that change is that, have you ever noticed like when we're approaching a position or an objective, and you know we're there, we're at the objective, but they might have superior numbers or something, and then there'll be a moment at which we have superior numbers, and then a little bar will come up on the top of the screen that says friendly forces are capturing. As soon as that bar appears, that's when it starts flashing on the map. And it's at that point, when that bar plops up, then no one can spawn in there.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Makes
that
sense,
bar
yeah.
has to, as soon as that, so if that bar's not up, but we're all in there and stuff, they can still keep spawning in. But the second that we actually start capturing it, they can no longer just like spam spawn and like spawn in, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's also a new balancing gameplay feature that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Something I noticed, I don't know if it was a change that was publicized or whatever, but I felt like my gun had a little more recoil or something. Like I was struggling to hit people, it felt like at times. You know, just having that experience where it felt like I put it right on them, you know, and I would let loose a burst of fire there, you know, have it set on auto, and yeah, they just kept on going, you know? And like it's so hard without the hit markers and stuff to discern that sometimes. Yeah, so I've watched maybe a clip or two of a TikTok video, people talking about setting some settings that could help with that, but yeah, I don't have a good solution for that. But
yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, I'm sure that they don't always include every single modification in their patch notes, but it's highly likely that they adjusted. I'm looking on the website right now, but I don't see anything in regards to. Yeah, you can read the full change log here, which we're not going to do now. But I'm sure you're probably right, Chuck. They probably made several adjustments to the weapons and so on.
Yeah, I feel like the most public one we haven't talked about yet is the mortars. Like how about that? Like first time we were kind of like we were taking an enemy base, and then we started receiving fire, like from the enemy onto their own base, like to root us out of there from like 3 freaking objectives over on the map.
I can't even describe it. It was like a combination of actual like fear, because they did the sound effects so well. Like the sound design behind the mortars, both on the receiving end and the launching end, is just so well done. So when we were in that objective, because you're right, we were taking that objective, and then all of a sudden you could hear the, and it, man, oh man, I was a combination of like, oh shit,
Yeah.
but also, oh my gosh, these are the mortars. Let's check it out. So like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to. Remember, you were saying, Ovox, get in the damn tent, get in the damn tent, or something.
Yeah.
You're like, get the hell out of there. Or was that Pepe? Somebody was telling us to get the hell out of there.
Spread out. I was kind of between the two med tents. I thought, surely to God, they're not going to bomb them. I was using like injured people for cover, and then
You dirty dog.
yeah, I had a small child in front of me, protecting myself from fire. Like, but no, I saw it kind of hit, and I was like, surely, like, they're not bombing their own base. And I was kind of skeptical, like, at first. Like, I thought, maybe just a couple guys had thrown some grenades. But we did hear that sound you just described. And, yeah, I knew it probably had to be it. And, like, we kind of stumbled around and like, shit, here it come again. Like, that pretty much answered that question. It's like, yeah.
Oh, and the explosions were just
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it was so insane. And it was hectic. It was a hectic moment.
Because you always have that, like you hear, you have that kind of feeling like, surely it's not going to hit me. Like, like I'm not going to take this fucker right on the nose.
Because you know how like the wounding mechanics are pretty solid, right? You're like, gosh, earlier I could barely walk. I wonder what one of these is gonna do.
Oh yeah, there's no, like, you realize, like, when you saw it hit over there by the tent, like, and it didn't hit you, that like it don't even have to really hit you. Like, if it gets anywhere fucking close, you're gonna eat some hot lead somewhere. It's gonna be like, whoa. Yeah, those things were intense, man. And I felt like we ran into some people that knew how to use them, and man, I don't know how to use them. Like, we all, I think you guys like got into it a little more after I got off one night, but I've got questions, man. Like I've even watched some videos. Like, my first question is, why, to aim it, does a man walk up and bear hug it? Like should there not be like legs and like some gears and knobs that we turn or something? Like, what's going on there?
Is that how it looked when you were like?
Yeah, like I was waiting in line, like we all said, like, oh shit, we got a mortar here, like let's check it out. And like some other rando was there checking it out, and I think Pepe got on it, and like it looks like a person just goes up, like kind of looks down some kind of sight, and is like bear hugging the thing. Like,
I didn't notice that. I'm gonna pay attention to that, but it must be like they're trying to simulate, like, because it is a big old tube.
Yeah,
they must have to like move it like that. But yeah, interesting. I'll check that out. Yeah. So the aiming, man, it's definitely not on those mortars. It's not for the impatient. That's for sure. It's because, like, yeah, you signed off, and Pepe Tortilla and I, we had to remain there for a little bit, if I remember correctly, because it was taking forever to capture that base, and there weren't that many of us, so it was taking a moment. And while we were just messing around there, probably we should have taken cover, but we just went up to the mortar and started checking it out. And you got to have one guy to man it. Well, I don't know if you have to. You can probably do it. Well, no, you set the aiming with one person. One person will set the position of the mortar for to shoot, and you got to go over to the little arsenal there in the pit, pick up a mortar. Which there's several types. I think there's a training mortar. There's smoke. There's I think there's like high explosive. There's different types, all with their own rank. And you walk that thing over, and you just kind of like aim towards the tip of the tube at the top, and you hit the little, the button there, and it drops it in, and it makes again, the sound design is so amazing. It just, yeah, and
as soon as you drop it in, it fires like real life.
Yeah, yep, it's really cool. Now, yeah, the aiming, man, it's not for the impatient. I tried to I'm like, I think I can figure this out. And I know I had seen videos about it before where they were talking about it, before the update came out, that there's like a notebook that has all of the different specifications and stuff. And so I kind of looked into it again, and I think what you do, and fellow gamers, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you got to kind of have someone in the position, like the recon team or the squad that's wherever they may, at the objective they're pushing, wherever they may be, and they'll radio back and say, hey, we need mortars on this position. And then they have to relay back their sector. So they'll get which now you can just kind of look on the map there and it'll tell you, it'll have the little numbers. So let's just say it's like 046573. That, and then at this, there's a couple of buildings here, blah, 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 and they'll give the best description possible, radio that back. And then the mortar team will open up their map and use the, what's the name of that thing? The protractor?
Protractor.
And
that's the barrier. Like when you see that, you're just like, oh, this is going to be some shit right here.
It's like, okay, I'm going to need about 5 minutes. Maybe 10. Yeah, so you got to use that. You got to measure the distance on your map and so on and so forth, and the range and all this stuff. And then you got to pull out the notebook, get the right specifications and numbers for that range and that sector and so on. And then you adjust the mortar itself using all of the, the heads up display that it has in the aiming thing, which is, what baffled me. And then you can launch that mortar, and and then the guy, and then the forward position, the recon team or the squad that's over there, then they have to relay back if you actually hit the target or not, because you're likely not going to see.
You'd have no clue, yeah.
It's just like, gosh, man. Nothing like other games we've played where you use mortars, and you just, oh yeah, we're gonna shoot it right there, beep, beep. Just hit the button, and it's so simple.
And it just registers a bunch of kills for you. Exactly if it worked or not. Yeah. No.
Not here.
That's exciting and kind of tough. Like at the same time, like it's almost like. Like I've got to do some research here and learn how to run that thing. It's
one of those scenes where you're like, do I want to let the mortar masters be the mortar masters? Yeah. It's like, do I want to let the badass pilots continue to be badass pilots? Yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
last
guess there's
time,
a niche for folks. Yeah.
Oh, I think we've already talked about this before, but were you there? Were you there in that chopper when we had that air-to-air chopper dogfight?
No.
Oh,
I was
you weren't
there
with
when
us
that
for that?
chopper almost crashed on Pepe Tortilla.
Dude, what happened there? What happened? What was that all about?
I think it was just somebody that's able to fly about as well as me that was, just coming in hot. He crashed the fuck out of that thing. It was an enemy, but it's just I just looked. He was standing there, and I saw it coming. I was like, uh-oh. And his character just took a knee, and it missed him. Kind of like the tail boom went over his head.
No shit, dude. That's like a Die Hard movie.
And then, and I thought, wow. And then he took 2 steps toward me and then turned around and killed one of our own players. He shot the first man he saw. Which, some poor guy. And we were in our group chat and you could hear him what the
was it an accident?
Oh yeah well, and we revived him we stitched him up. Patted him on the back.
He's coming out of the smoke. Are you guys okay? Blah, blah, blah.
That's exactly what happened. He must have been over by the main tent, and he came running over. And later on, we were just no man, you almost got hit by a fucking Type 1 helicopter.
Oh god, that's hilarious.
That's a perfectly valid response. Just shoot the first motherfucker you see. Even though there's a big white PlayStation symbol in his name. like right above his head. Let him have it. Like, you know.
I think Pepe was just having a PTSD moment of almost getting hit by a helicopter. He's like,
yeah.
who the hell was that? Turns
Oh,
around.
yeah, I was too. I was like from a safe distance watching it. I was like, I had my gun on that guy too. I was like, what's he? Like, this is awful suspicious.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious, dude.
Oh yeah, but yeah, like so you guys got in a dogfight with those helicopters, like.
Oh man, I thought you were with us. It was such an unreal Arma cinematic moment. So we spawn in, and we need to get to a forward position so we can start supporting the team. We were in a main operating base, and there was a helicopter there. It was a really opportune moment. A guy landed, taking squads to the front line, and we just jumped in. It was one of those choppers that has the side Gatling guns on the side. So there were a bunch of us in there, but yeah, this chopper was packing heat, and we were pushing for. There were several of us in this chopper, and those awesome moments where there's a whole bunch of boys, a whole bunch of bros in the chopper, and we're all talking it up in the chat, like, here we go, boys, going to the front line. I love those moments, man.
I do too.
And
you kind of get a moment if you're not flying or navigating, like you can kind of chill, like even in real life, like, grab a drink, whatever, like.
I've even heard like, and normally I'm not a fan of this because it can kind of create a lot of, unwanted noise in the chat. But I remember someone was playing like low key, like old 70s rock and roll. Like they kind of turned it into like a nom moment, dude. It was so funny. I was like, oh, this is actually like a really good
Some folks are born.
Born to see a man. Ooh, the red, white, and blue. We're all cruising, like really feeling the moment,
Hell yeah.
But in this case, yeah, we're just cruising forward, and then the pilot calls in like enemy chopper approaching, and it just, gosh, it really gets you going. And there's nothing we can do. It's not like we're gonna just jump out of the helicopter. Like we're not gonna survive that one. And we engaged it, man. We engaged it, and it turned into like just circling. We were just circling and trying to cut corners and get the superior position, and the height on this chopper. And man, our pilot just, I don't remember his name, but respect to this chopper pilot, man. He just circled and went around and got the height and everything and just kept the gunner on the perfect position. And they were fighting back too. They were shooting back. Like we were taking hits, but they, like, no one died. And man, that thing just, you saw it, the smoke just went into flames, and it just went down, man. And we all had a bird eye view of it. It just went, and we were all just, yeah, America, fuck yeah. Having a real bitch. It was sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. And so that's an element of the new update, right? Like before we weren't shooting from the ships, right? Like they were just mostly transport or all transport.
This chopper was one of those standard, like, it had, we've always had the Gatling guns from the side.
Okay.
But the new ones, and let me bring that up real quick, because you are correct.
Or something,
they shoot rockets, man. Let's see. They're called offensive helicopters. It says, command the skies and pilot the seat of the gunship variants of the Mi-8 and the UH-1H helicopters with new fully adjustable kilometer sights, collimator? Is that spelled wrong? I don't know what that says. Detachable rocket pods and various ammunition options for each gunship. You can keep the enemy forces suppressed and constantly retreating. If you're on the ground, make sure to watch the skies and have your RPGs ready. So yes, yep, got the Mi-8 and the UH-1H helicopters, and we've seen them in action too. I don't know if you have, but I've seen those things in action, just lighting up the ground.
God, that's scary.
And this update has a ton of additions in that sense, with like there's civilian choppers, new vehicles,
civilian vehicles,
and
some new we ran into like I got to pump a RPG into the new, what is it, Lav or something, like there's two new sort of tank like vehicles.
That's right. Man, those things are badass. You got the LAV 25 and the BRDM 2. Hey, fellow gamers. Hold on. That didn't come out right.
No, that's perfect.
Maybe we should just leave that. Hey, fellow gamers, if you haven't already, go on to Spotify, give us a follow and a 5-star rating. That would help us a bunch. We really need the support. It gets us out there to more fellow gamers like yourself. And yes, I will leave that blooper.
That's right. 'Cause we love you gamos. And, dude, that thing took that RPG like a pretty damn well. Like I thought we kind of pumped a few into it and it was on fire and I thought it was done and then like it started maneuvering like it had someone
I remember that.
What the hell was going on there? Like it took some fire. Like
I think Brad Pitt was in that thing from Fury.
He was.
Like, we ain't done yet, brother.
You boys make for the tree line. I'm gonna hold this.
We'll get out of this one. No, but they didn't get out of there, did they? We eventually got that thing. I remember it eventually exploded.
Oh,
but that thing really did take a bunch of hits.
Yeah, and I just like a little bit of watched in real life. Like there's certain points you got to shoot those things at. Like in real life, like it'll have like a vulnerability, type area, especially in the back, I think. And I shot it probably straight in the front. But yeah, I like firing off those RPGs, man. Like I never have enough ammo, but God, like the one I get, like it's fun.
Oh, it's so satisfying. It really is. Yeah, those are cool. I haven't really got to mess yet too much with those land vehicles. Well, not land vehicles. The new like armored personnel carriers, or it's going to be hard for me to remember the real names. But yeah, those little like semi-tank things. I have been inside one. I have driven one around, and it's hard in first person, man. It's hard to navigate, to drive those things and operate them. It's going to take some getting used to. It's going to be another one of those situations where it's going to be like, it's going to take me some time to master this, just like with the helicopter. And, it's like, and it's not to say you can only pick one role to get good at in this game, but it really does offer you a bunch of different roles where you can contribute to the larger objective, right?
Yeah,
and
which is realistic, like is how it works in the real army. I feel like, to a large degree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I it's funny you mentioned that, like from that perspective of driving that thing, because that's almost how that dude acted. Like I felt like that had to suck for him, because it's like he's pulling up in the new vehicle, and we had just picked up a bunch of RPGs. Like we had just passed them out, like picked them off of dead bodies. And literally, I had it already armed, already in my hand. I was like, hey. Hello. He's over there trying to figure out these controls are a little different. Like from two sides RPG.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's my luck. But God.
Hey, and did you get to see any building or tree destruction?
I definitely saw some tree destruction, but when we took those mortars, but I haven't saw a building go completely down, other than like on TV, like a video,
and the trailers and stuff.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about it. I'm hoping that they'll work on it a little bit more. It seems kind of like up and down in terms of like, what it takes and what it takes to destruct a building and what. How do I frame this? Like, it seems like it needs to be balanced better, because there's like, you'll come across little tiny structures that are made of wood, and it doesn't matter. Like you can put so many rockets into it before it'll actually like destruct. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like unrealistic. But then there's other situations where like, you can take a building down pretty quickly, and it just doesn't seem balanced. And then, it's like the way the health bar on these buildings works is they all kind of just collapse all together at once. It's definitely better than not having destruction, but it would be cool to see if they can slowly like make the destruction more dynamic, kind of like in Battlefield and other games that have destruction.
Yeah, that's a criticism I've heard of it. Like people would rather the building just kind of chip away instead of like falling all at once. Like sort of just like the health bar's been met now. The whole thing goes like if I'm shooting rockets in a certain window, I'd like to see, that area get worse and worse. Like,
have the whole window and all the framing around it just get blown out.
Yeah.
Like even if it's just in sections, that's fine. But it seems like there's some inconsistency that kind of steals from the realism. Oh, sorry, it steals from a little bit of the realism in that sense. But we'll have to see too. I haven't really had hands-on experience with it. I've just kind of like observed, from a distance.
Yeah. Yeah. I glanced at the roadmap this morning, dude. There's so many things coming to this world, like in game,
really?
like not like announced coming out, but like the roadmap, like the full, it like takes each part, like aviation, there's all these goals and like it's
wow,
it's like the rest of our lives. I think they're going to be like updating this game. It looks like.
Wow, that's good to hear. Yeah. Mods, man, mods is the next thing that all of us PlayStation 5 Arma Reforgers are very excited for and looking forward to.
Yeah,
just being able to mod, because that's, I think, the mod aspect of Arma Reforger is a cornerstone to the PC ecosystem, at least. Like playing Arma Reforger on PC is a whole different experience, is at least what my understanding is. I haven't played it on PC, but I've seen what Arma Reforger can be on PC, and I'm just so excited to see what that's going to be like on PlayStation 5. So the mods are going to bring a whole nother aspect to this game, a whole nother dimension and realm that's going to be super exciting. I don't know how you're feeling about them mods, man, because you're getting pretty familiar with mods via Arc.
True, and that's one of the things that struck me when I was over on the Arma Reforger website, is they support the shit out of that. There's like a tutorial about doing mods over there. Like I noticed like it's broke down into different videos, for like shit, I don't even know what it means, just words I've heard, like workbench and shit, like, that they're working with or whatever. And I'm like, okay,
workbench.
Put it on the workbench. It's like, if I had $1 for every time, like, no. Yeah. It looks like it's something they super support. And I feel like that's changed over lifetime. Cause when I thought of mods years ago, I would think of someone that's kind of, hacking into the system, essentially, like doing something they don't want. But like nowadays, man, just like you mentioned, it's part of my everyday experience in Arc, and there's things I like about it and things I don't. Like I think you can get a little too moddy sometimes, like, when it's taking forever to load, and I'm like, that fucking cyber structures mod is, And
you know what? It's funny because I think that's exactly why we don't have mods yet, and it's taking a little bit of time, because they have promised mods. Like they've said mods are coming to PS5, so we know that's going to happen. I don't think there's an official date, so we can't like, and I certainly don't want them to rush any of this stuff. But I think that they do have to like really figure out, how they're going to get the mods onto PS5, and then they also have to go through that testing and certification process, because the PlayStation, it's kind of like a real set thing, it's not a device that has the openness in a sense of modifications and changes like a PC does. PCs they allow you to, they open, you have a lot of doors you can open and explore and change things and configure and modify, where your console's kind of set. So,
right, and the trade-off is stability. I feel like you're, someone's like, I've got a such and such going on my computer, and you got to get on some forum and go through. Like you don't typically have to do that so much with the PlayStation.
It's quote unquote, like start and go. It's you just
plug
turn
and
it
play,
on and that's it. Start and go. Plug and play. What the hell? Start and go.
Beep, beep.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh gosh.
No, I knew what you meant for sure. It is much more stable, but I think too, like, man, it's a commitment with the mod, like, because every time the game gets updated, I think they've got to go to work and update the mod, and you must have to show some kind of like solvency or something, that you're gonna support this thing and be here tomorrow. Like,
they gotta pass a high barrier, and that barrier is Sony. Like Sony's not going to allow any mods or any like things like that on their system if they don't function well, if they don't configure over well, port over well, they don't cause the game to crash. They have barriers and tests and certifications that have to be met, and passed and approved for them to be able to do that, which is, with Arc, at least, we know that they were able to succeed. So I'm sure that Bohemia will also be able to succeed. And they've made that promise to us as the Arma community. And I'm really looking forward to it, because I've seen on YouTube and on gameplay and on other, other shows and whatnot, what is capable, like what mods can do, and just how amazing the game looks. I've seen mods where they have like all modern equipment, modern vehicles, and modern, I think there's drones and whatnot, man. It's just like, can you imagine?
I'm so scared of drones. Like where that's going to lead in the future. Like,
I could just see like your ultimate nightmare being a drone with a clown face on the tip,
Oh,
piloted
Jesus.
by a clown.
No, sir. Not at all. God, that's so scary. Yeah, playing some kind of weird clown laugh coming over or something. God. Yeah.
Like right before it strikes you and goes boom. And sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you, Chuck.
Yeah, because I mean, we talked about before that kind of led to like it sounded like some of those mods, like the modern conflicts, like led to that DDoS situation, which I'm kind of happy to report has been sort of a non-issue lately. I haven't noticed much of any troubles.
No, we're good to go. We're good to go. Seems like that's been fixed, and that was great news. I think they fixed that some time back, but we did take a bit of a break from Arma when that happened. We kind of went and played some other stuff for a little bit, but we got back into it, been enjoying the hell out of it, and it seems like the community is just growing and growing. So Arma, I think they have at least Arma Reforger has a bright future ahead of it, and I'm really looking forward to see what they bring to the table.
Yeah. Yeah, our play sessions this week have been fun as shit. I've enjoyed that. Like I say, my only frustration is just I at times I felt like I was hitting things and I wasn't, which like is part of this. The unknowing is part of the simulation. I feel like,
You just reminded me of one of those car crashes. We were cruising, dude. We were just hauling butt going down the road, but it was like a perfectly straight road. Like there was no way I was gonna like crash into anything. And just all of a sudden, on the normal straight road, like in the lane, driving exactly how you should, the car just like hit something invisible and just flipped, dude. It just freaking
a front flip. Like,
dude, it was as if we hit a cow, like driving the Baja or something, and just boom, and just like we freaking just flipped and flew, invisible wall, like, and just dead.
Yeah. There were several of those that is a frustration of mine, and it always reminded me of like I used to play some racing games, a good bit, the NASCAR game or whatever, and like your first instinct is to floor it always, and like you crash enough times, like you eventually realize like, okay, I got to use the brakes like as well. Or some crafty lifting off the throttle.
I was wondering why this other pedal was here.
yeah. Like eventually you realize, oh, okay, like the people that I'm playing against, are not just holding the throttle, like and yeah, they'll bitch at you, like in multiplayer, like they'll jump your ass over that shit, and like you eventually get where you can ride with them, and yeah, I don't know that there is a brake on that fucking on these vehicles, like
There is, but sometimes, like, especially when it's kind of like the ping is a little off and the frames are jumpy. Like, in fact, if I had any, like, I guess my top two requests, like if I could change anything, it would be to rework the crashing system so that you don't just insta die with like a semi hit to a tree. Injure, concussion, first aid, the whole night. Yeah. But just instant black screen death, explosion from hell, like, come on. Yeah. So I'd want to see that reworked a little bit. And also just like a general, like, touch up, because I don't know. I'm not sure if this is something only I'm experiencing, but the screen tear and the drops in the frame rate and the ping and everything. I know I got a great internet connection. It's not that. I'd like to see that, just kind of like, touched up a little bit.
Yeah.
Hell, leave the screen tear even. Just kind of make the whole performance a little bit more stable. At least that I'd be stoked with that. And to that effect, how about you, Chuck? Is there anything that anything that we haven't touched on regarding the mods, or anything that you'd like to see kind of like reworked or fleshed out a bit better?
Did they fix the reverse on the vehicles? Like can you?
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was one of the funniest fucking things I've seen us do lately is like, we got a Jeep. We were driving through the forest, like trying to take a shortcut through the forest. We hit a tree lightly, not enough to hurt anyone. Just kind of, it was in our way. And then we had no reverse. We all got out and pushed on it like hell and couldn't move it. And then someone said, well, shit, we're going to have to find another vehicle. So I started running through the forest and I came upon another Jeep that was exactly in the same scenario. Like someone had hit a tree lightly and couldn't do any, like it was a game over. Like we were on foot. Like after that, I don't remember, like that was after the patch, right? Like that was like, I think this.
That's true. That's true. So that's answered your question. It seems like they maybe haven't fixed that yet.
Yeah, we got to get some reverse or
something. That would be. Then I completely agree, and that would be my third request. That would be my top three. Like those are the three things that of course, I want to see those mods come soon, but like in the interim, like I'd like to see those three things like kind of fleshed out a little bit more. Just worked on a little bit. And I'm curious, fellow gamers, what do you think? Are you experiencing the screen tear? Are you experiencing the problem where the Jeeps don't have reverse? Let us know. Definitely hit us up. You can like drop a comment on Spotify, or maybe hit us up on Instagram or something like that. But I'd be interested to see who else out there is experiencing these little like difficulties.
Yeah. And what have you seen the AI do that it wasn't doing before?
Man. Have you been flanked? We got flanked. Dude. I gotta be honest though, like when that was all done and everything, like I wasn't like bitter. It was actually kind of like really cool just to see how like much more advanced the AI is on those NPCs. They really got something going there.
Yeah. I like that about this game. Like I tried to almost role play, like shooting from cover, like, where as in Warzone type games, I felt like movement is the thing, never in a real battle. Like I don't feel like out in real conflicts going on right now. Is there somebody that like, just runs up and shoots back and forth, like on foot? It's like you could try that, but I don't think it would work. Like, no. So I like much more like what I'd be like in real life. Like I'd make sure most of my body was covered, like not exposed, and just barely the tip of my gun, out there, and
absolutely. It would be fun. Like next time we're on, let's try and role play how an actual like squad would move together, because they do. You move in teams. And you got a front person, 3, 4, 5. It's just going to be the three of us, right? So let's try like really like simulating cover and move, covering angles, all that stuff. That would be fun, because that way we got one guy covering the front, we got a middle guy that's covering the flanks, and then someone covering the 6, and we can cover and move and try and take those objectives.
Yeah,
and be the dream squad.
Yeah, well,
of Conflict Evron.
And I will say, like I'm normally introverted to where I don't like playing, but like I do feel like some of the experiences with other players, like there's players that have really been trained in that shit out there, like in the military or whatever.
We've heard them in the comms.
Yeah, that'd be fun to hear their thoughts on how to do that.
It's like, damn it, listen to me, I've literally done this. I've literally done this.
Yeah. It could go too far, but somebody that's not being too much of a dick about it, because man, we heard some people that are just like, people get to Oklahoma now. What are you doing? Atlas Blue 2, I see you. And it's like,
dude, that one guy was giving Pepe a hard time. It was so funny that Pepe was like, I'm just gonna mess with this guy for being such a dick. Like, the guy was being so mean to Pepe that Pepe decided to troll him.
It's like he did a psyop on him too. He didn't like use his words. He just like kept pointing his gun at him.
I just remember that guy going, Pepe Tortilla, I swear, I swear, I swear. He just kept saying in the comms. It's so funny.
We've literally been on like 3 minutes.
I know. It's like, dude, it's like, guys, we're not here to steal supplies or anything. The guy was free. I think he thought that we were going to steal supplies. It's like, no, we just got in the game, but
yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, there is like you got to work together. But one of the things I know we're out of time, but I'll add they've nailed a lot of those things because man, just having worked for the government in the past, that's what I said to Pepe. I was like, this is so realistic. Like when you send 4 people of equal rank to do something, that's what happens. Like if no one's clearly in charge, like everyone's like, well, fuck you. You're not the boss of me.
Oh my gosh. And the comms just become mayhem.
Well, and you have your little clique of friends that you get along with, like that's us in our private chat. Like, you know, like you talk about the other dudes, like it's so like I was like, man, this is just like it.
That's
I
so
can
funny.
imagine what the Army's like, but yeah, man, it's been some good times. I'm excited to see the new updates, and it's been fun talking about this one. For sure.
Yeah, no, I think we're all looking forward to the same thing. We're looking forward to that update coming with the mods, seeing the roadmap develop, and just enjoying the good times. It's a really fun game. And I think there's a lot of people there that are enjoying it. In a sense, it's like it's kind of a breath of fresh air, you know, because we all love those military style games, whatever the subcategory or subgenre may be, you know, battle royale types or campaign type battle, you know, all that stuff. We really enjoy. There's a huge community of people that enjoy those games, and you know, and it's not to say like that Arma Reforger is this brand new thing that never existed before, but in a sense, for anyone on PlayStation 5, it's, you know, especially during that sweet period that we were talking about and that we've talked about in past episodes, it's a really fun, refreshing experience.
Yeah. I think it's some sort of sweet spot, like milsim light, you know, on PS5, where you know there's some of those barriers to entry. Like, okay, now pull out your protractor. Like they're in there, but they're not. Like, you don't have to do that to have a good time. You know, it's
indeed.
Yeah.
Yep. And man, you know, not to drag this on, but you know, there's a lot of hype right now, or I don't know if hype is the right word, but there's certainly a lot of advertisements trying to like remind people, hey, Call of Duty still exists. We're still here, and Verdansk is coming back out. And it's still like, yeah, but damage has been done. And I gotta admit, I do kind of have the itch to go play Verdansk again, you know, to re-download Warzone and get back into that Verdansk, because they brought back a lot of the classic stuff. But I mean, we can talk about that in another episode.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's like the first Verdansk or the second one. It looks like the second one, and I was like, like it looks a little different, you know, like because we've already done that once. Like remember, like there was like old Verdansk, and then there was like 80s Verdansk, like where the stadium was changed and stuff.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I think this is the original OG, like the first one.
Yeah. I'd like to land at TV station and get back in my tower. Just,
you know what?
I've been arguing for years was the most superior position.
Well, shoot, I might have to eat my words, and we might be back in that war zone here sooner than later. But for now, this has been another episode of New Wave Gaming. Reach out, hit us up, just drop a comment in Spotify there, hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. You can find us. We're out there, and we love interacting with y'all. And maybe we'll see you in Everon.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, fellow gamers. Thank you. Love y'all.